we can't do anything about the aging of the population. That's happening. And let's say it's a good thing,
Oh yeah, it's a high class problem. Absolutely. I mean, if you
Yeah.
gotta have problems, living longer is a great problem to have. We just have to figure out how to pay for it, and we haven't done that yet. And so when you talk about healthcare and aging as it pertains to the federal budget, what are those programs? Like you said, it's not discretionary. It's not science-based technology and transportation spending, that's getting us
Yeah.
into
So it's those aging scientists, by God.
exactly. So what I mean when you think about aging and you think about healthcare, what are those programs? Well, of course, that's Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and an aging population means growing spending on these retirement and healthcare programs. Most notably, those three programs. So I think a lot of critics to reform oftentimes, why are you always talking about Social Security and Medicare? It's like, well, that's where the unsustainable. That's where we haven't figured out. We've overpromised and under taxed, right, in a lot of these areas, and we've got to figure out what to do because these programs, Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, account for really all of the projected growth in non-interest federal spending. We were talking about how fast interest is growing, how that's the fastest part. But if you discount that fast growing interest part, it really the projected growth are in these three areas, and these programs account for all of the projected growth relative to the size of the economy over the next 30 years. Setting interest aside, it's just
Yeah.
huge.
So I mean, those programs, as you say, I mean, they grow on autopilot. If you think about it, it makes sense because there are more beneficiaries every year. So of course they're going to cost more every year. And in
Exactly.
the case of Medicare, it's healthcare costs tend to increase faster than economic growth. So they do grow faster than the economy. And that's why, without it, revenues also grow, by the way, in the long-term projections, revenues on autopilot grow because of bracket creep and, increased economic growth and more people working. And so you do bring in more revenue on autopilot, but the growth of the programs that you mentioned, retirement and healthcare programs, is faster. And then the difficulty is that you know, when you say those names, Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid, those are, it's the third rail of American politics because they're very popular, they're very important, they're very crucial, and as the population ages, they're even more so. So we've got to figure out what to do. Getting hold of the uncharted territory in deficits and debt really comes down to figuring out a way to slow the growth of those programs. We're not really going to cut them, but we need
No, no, no.
to figure out ways that they're going to be sustainable over the long term, and they aren't now.